Imagine finding a glitch in an ATM that lets you withdraw unlimited money from a bank account with zero balance. This seemingly impossible scenario happened to Dan Sanders, a man from Melbourne, Australia. In 2011, he discovered a loophole that turned him into an overnight millionaire. But as with all tales of ill-gotten gains, the end was not as he might have hoped. Stay tuned to uncover the suspenseful journey of Dan's rise and fall due to a bank's technical error. 2011, Dan Sanders was living a modest life in Melbourne, Australia. He worked at a local casino, making enough to get by, but far from living a luxurious lifestyle. When his fiancée decided to move to Wangaratta, a smaller town, Dan followed her and secured a job at a local bar. His life seemed to be on a steady, albeit unremarkable path. One night after finishing his shift at the bar, Dan went out drinking with his friend Mark. They had a long night of fun, but by the end of it, Dan found himself alone and out of cash, yearning for one more drink. Determined, he decided to find an ATM to see if he could withdraw some money. He approached a National Australia Bank ATM, inserted his savings account card, and saw that it was empty. With no other options, he tried his credit card, knowing it was close to its $2,000 limit. Attempting to transfer $200 from his credit card to his savings account, the transaction failed, as expected, and the ATM ejected his card. In a moment of desperate curiosity, Dan reinserted his savings card and tried to withdraw $200 despite the empty balance. To his amazement, the ATM dispensed the cash. Bewildered but elated, Dan returned to the bar and continued his night. Seeking shelter from the rain later, he found himself back at the ATM and repeated the process, successfully withdrawing another $200. By the night's end, he had withdrawn $2,000, money he knew he didn't have. The next day, Dan anxiously checked his bank statements. Surprisingly, his savings account balance remained zero, and his credit card balance was unchanged. Encouraged by the apparent lack of consequences, Dan tried the ATM again the following night, repeating the steps and withdrawing more money. He soon realized that the ATM had a glitch during a specific window after midnight, allowing him to withdraw cash without depleting his actual balance. Over the next few weeks, Dan took full advantage of this loophole, withdrawing large amounts of money nightly. His lifestyle changed dramatically as he began spending extravagantly. He treated friends to expensive dinners, bought luxury items, and indulged in high-stakes gambling. His sudden wealth attracted attention, but Dan kept the secret of his newfound fortune closely guarded. Despite the ongoing withdrawals, the bank's system eventually began showing negative balances that corresponded to his nightly withdrawals. To maintain the ruse, Dan had to perform a delicate balance of making nightly transfers and withdrawals, always staying ahead of the bank's system corrections. This led to a stressful and precarious routine, knowing that missing even one night could expose his actions. Dan's life began spiraling out of control. His addiction to gambling and reckless spending habits caused him to lose large sums of money. He faced mounting losses from horse races and casino bets, exacerbating his financial situation. His erratic behavior raised suspicions, leading to his eventual dismissal from his bar job. The strain also took a toll on his personal life, resulting in his fiancée leaving him. Isolated and desperate, Dan's life was unraveling. In a final attempt to enjoy his ill-gotten gains, Dan decided to take a trip to Melbourne with Mark. They checked into a luxurious hotel and continued their spree of gambling and spending, burning through thousands of dollars. Even during this escapade, Dan maintained his nightly routine of exploiting the ATM glitch, further complicating his predicament. Eventually, the unsustainable nature of Dan's scheme became undeniable. The bank system finally caught up, revealing the massive debt he had incurred. Authorities were notified, and Dan's actions were brought under investigation. His brief stint as an overnight millionaire ended in legal trouble and financial ruin. This story of a man who found and exploited a technical glitch to amass temporary wealth is a stark reminder of the consequences of unethical actions. While the allure of easy money can be tempting, it often comes with significant risks. Dan's fleeting moment of wealth came at the cost of his relationships, reputation, and ultimately his freedom. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.